Given that it's currently Pesach, or Passover, and also because most of my non-Jewish friends have looked at me completely blankly when I've said the word matzah, I thought I'd make a video about matzah! What it is, where it comes from, and what we do with it.
What is it?
Matzah is unleavened bread, which means it's made without yeast and therefore doesn't rise. It looks like this. You can think of it like being a giant cracker. And it kind of tastes like one as well, but it's got its own unique taste to it. These perfectly square ones are machine-made, but you can get some more traditional handmade ones as well. The handmade ones also taste sort of like a giant cracker, but in my experience tend to lean more towards the cardboard side of the spectrum. The reason it can be spelled so many different ways, matzah, 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 is because matzah is originally a Hebrew word, so there's no actual correct way of spelling it in English. You can eat matzah all year round if you like, but matzah sales tend to peak around Pesach time. Little tip for you there if you're thinking about getting into the matzah business. That's because it's eaten as part of the Passover ceremony and meal known as the Seder, and because Jews are then supposed to avoid eating anything made with leavened grain for the rest of the Passover week. Matzah is therefore a good alternative during Pesach for things like bread. But as many Jews will tell you, an entire week's worth of eating matzah doesn't always sit very well with everyone's digestive system. Good tip if you're also thinking about getting into the laxative business. Why has no one combined those businesses? Brings a new meaning to the phrase, let my people, go.
What do you do with it?
The reason why matzah is eaten on Passover comes from the Passover story. You know the one, there's a pharaoh, there's some plagues, an angel of death, he passes over the Jewish households, not the Egyptian ones, No? They made an animated film about it. Yes, that one. Well, in the story, the Jews, who have just been freed from being slaves after lots of plagues and horrible stuff happened to the Egyptians, have to quickly pack up all their stuff and leave Egypt before Pharaoh changes his mind. So they chucked all the belongings they had, including the dough they'd just made to make bread, onto their backs and got out of there. However, since they left so quickly, the dough wasn't given time to rise, but instead it baked as they walked in the hot sun on their backs. And that's why we eat matzah, to commemorate that time. Some cynics would say that you'd struggle to get Jews to leave anywhere quickly without preparation, but During the Seder, you eat matzah on its own, maybe with some salt water. You have to have it with some bitter herbs at one point at the Seder. You can have it with your soup as well, and you can also have charoset on it, which is this kind of paste made of apples and nuts and wine and general yumminess. Around Pesach time, different families also make lots of different dishes which are made from matzah, and although matzah on its own does taste quite nice, it seems to be ways to make it a bit more exciting because you are eating it for a week, and possibly a bit more palatable. These include things like matzah balls for soup, matzah brown or matzah bride, depending on how you pronounce it, as a sort of fried alternative, or matzah meal, which is used as a substitute for baking and for things like the breadcrumbs around schnitzel. But that's not all! Matzah isn't just eaten during Passover, some of it is hidden around the house as well. What? There's a part of the Seder where the middle matzah of 3 is taken out, broken in half, and one of the halves is then wrapped up and hidden around the house somewhere by the parents attending the Seder. Just a little note of caution, don't start hiding other foods around your house because it's probably not very sanitary and your guests will talk. After the meal, it's then down to the kids to hunt for that half a piece of matzah, which is called the Cohen, and when they do find it, they have to then present it to the adults, and they're usually given some sort of reward or prize for doing so. When I was a kid, it was tennis balls, or socks, or chocolate. I miss being a kid. Now, the meaning behind the kids or going and finding the Cohen is very symbolic in the way that it's not symbolic at all. It's actually just a tradition which has grown up to keep the kids basically awake and entertained and not so restless during the whole Seder. Matzah as a thing has found its way into lots of jokes, ties, and silly songs, including such classics as Matzah, Matzah man, I want to be a matzah man, or even It must have been love, but it's over now. Finally, I'll leave you with a matzah related joke told by my dear sweet father. But before I go, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please do leave a comment below about what you think about matzah, any other facts you have that I might have missed off, what you like to do with matzah, and also there's a prize for anyone who can tell me how many times I've said the word matzah during this video. The prize is just pride. There's not a physical prize. So, on to you, Dad.
Well, says the doctor to the highly worried patient, the bad news is I'm afraid you've got a highly infectious disease for which there's no known cure. You're going to have to go into isolation for a year. Oh my God, says the man, that's terrible. Well, there is some good news, says the doctor. We're going to give you a diet composed of pizza, flapjacks and matzo. Oh, said the man, I like matzo, I like the other things too. Is that going to cure me? No, said the doctor, but it's all we can slide under the door.